Connections with your Hi, this is Lori, and today is our last session of the Mastermind for Ikigai. So today we're gonna reflect on the past year, connect with traditions, and set goals for 2024. I'm so excited and thankful that you're all here today. It means a lot to me. And as I mentioned before, you being here is part of my Ikigai. So it's a pleasure, a joy, it's a blessing to be with all of you. And hopefully you made some good connections, some people you've never met before. So we will go to, this is the first slide, and we'll go to the next one. So some of you may not know me, you may, but believe it or not, I was born on a farm. So I'm a farmer's daughter. And this is a picture that our friend from Japan was merchant seaman, and he kind of adopted us like his grandkids or nieces and nephews. And he took our family picture to Japan, and they came back with this our image on a plate, and also came with two matches. So that's I still have it. It's the orange part in the background, and this in the frame is getting a little worn, but the picture's still fine. So I grew up on a farm, believe it or not, and I didn't like it at all. And I knew I didn't know what Ikigai was back then, but I knew that wasn't going to be my life. I go, who wants to be dirty and wet and having to eat your bologna sandwiches out in the hot sun and going to the bathroom in outhouses? Like, no, this is not my life. So I started thinking about my life as I was very young, but I knew it wouldn't be outdoors. I knew it would be indoors, and I loved art and I loved things to be beautiful. So that was one of my goals when I was young. So you can go to the next slide. And growing up, I didn't really like it because I was teased and bullied and just didn't want to have anything to do with my Japanese background. But it was always something in me. My grandmother used to try to plant seeds of being Japanese, because I can remember her trying to speak to me, and mom said she spoke to English. I go, not to me. She didn't speak English to me. She tried to have me understand her. So I took at graduating college, high achiever, and went to college. And when I was there, I wanted to get a BA, so I took that route and took 2 years of a language. Well, I thought, I don't want to, I learned French and I didn't really care for that. So I said, well, why don't I learn Japanese? Because my parents used to talk to each other and not include me. So I wanted to know what they were saying, because they were talking back and forth, and it's kind of interesting. But we figured out some of the words. But so finally, when I went, after I finished college, I went to work at the Tacoma Art Museum. And the previous the previous week, we talk about Sarah Little, my mentor. And when I was working for her, she goes, Lori, you are so Japanese, and I think you ought to go to Japan. And so that kind of planted a seed in me. And so as a young bride, I was in my 20s, and my husband and I didn't have children then. So we said, well, we might as well go now, because who knows what's going to happen later. So we went to Kyoto and met my father's cousins. There's a whole family of cousins. There's so many family resemblance. It was uncanny. And this was really interesting, because here we were, we never met each other, but those genes are pretty strong. And even heard the laughs of some of my relatives. So when we went to this, it's not a parade, it's a procession. And there's over 2,000 people dressed in period attire. This happens on October 22nd every year. And in Kyoto, it's just beautiful. It lasts about 2 hours. So all these people dressed in period attire. And then I saw Tomoe Gozen, and I didn't realize at that time that there were female samurai warriors, but she was so beautiful and strong. So it left a deep impression on me. And then a few days later, my grandparents, I'm sorry, my relatives uh, gave us a picture, well, actually a copy of our family crest. And it's three stylized swords, and you can see it up in the corner, and three leaves that look like hearts as part of the katabami plant. So if you could go to the next slide, Anel. And that's called a kamon. And you can see it in, I thought, oh, that's really nice. Domo arigato, thank you very much. And I didn't realize the significance of it until many years later. And so fast forward, we were married, had children, and raised a family. And then in 2005 and 2007, I was rear-ended twice. And it left me, even though it wasn't a, a large impact, it was enough impact where it was that coup, contra coup, and my head was messed up after, especially after '07 and reading at a seventh grade level. So I was determined not to be in that situation. So I researched and I dug into my Japanese background. I thought there's got to be some solutions there. So I did, and I studied and relentlessly every day, whether I was 15 minutes or an hour. But after about 8 years, 7, 8 years, I wrote the book. And I knew at that time that the DNA of the samurai warrior was in me because of the family crest. And so I wrote the book, and I thought if I can write the book, that I was going to overcome traumatic brain injury. So there's the book, and this is actually the new edition of my original book. It's called Let the Samurai Be Your Guide. And I'm really happy and proud that it's been translated into German and Arabic, and it has more of an international audience now. So I'm very excited, very thankful that they accepted me as for the book. And so it's now quote unquote their book. So I don't have a lot of like I said, I like this cover to be a little stronger. You go, well, that's it. I said, okay. didn't have any choice. So we can go to the next slide. And so we're going to talk now about exploring your Ikigai journey. So reflect on the past year, connect with traditions, and set meaningful goals for 2025. We can go to the next slide. So I'd like you to think about what lessons you've learned this year, how these lessons shaped your Ikigai journey, and in what ways have you connected with your purpose this year. And hopefully this class will help, the class Mastermind, the Action Mastermind will help you connect to your ways of your Ikigai. So just take a few moments and to reflect on that. And hopefully the lessons that we've learned have given you more insight into your own Ikigai. So hopefully 24 was a good year for you. And this is a good way to end your year. And Andy's putting it up on his. What do you call that, Andy? Yours?
It's called E-glass.
E-glass. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating. We're all getting a lesson on that.
Mm-hmm.
So that must be connected to your, somehow to your computer?
Yeah, this is kind of what it looks like right here. This is not a very clean picture, but I'm standing back here, got the glass in front of me, a monitor and a computer, and then this little camera right there is what is how you can see me. So then I
Oh,
write on the
cool.
glass and it flips the image for me. So
Wow. Smart
pretty handy.
machine.
Yep,
It
yep.
is. It's too clever for me. Would anybody like to share about your 2024, like one or two of the questions, comments? If you want to raise your hand or just come on. You look ready to share, Jay, are you?
My 2024 lesson is to be consistent, to show up and work with others, to each other accountable.
That's beautiful. You know what? I'm going to give you this. Can you see this?
Mhm.
I really love that. Thank
Mhm.
you.
You like that?
I'll give you a virtual one.
Mhm.
There's some virtual hearts.
Oh, I like that. You're welcome to do that for want to react. Is anybody else that would like to share?
I take a long time to process things, so I'm still on the first question. So what lessons have I learned in 2024?
Yeah, any of
Many,
them.
many, right? I would say probably one of the biggest ones is that I can't do it alone. I've just kind of, oh, what's the right way to say it? I've just accepted the fact that if I want to, you know, hit the goals that I want to hit, I have to, put other people around me. And it's not that I'm not a team player. And a lot of that was just a matter of not being able to afford teammates. That's why having my VA on board has really kind of revolutionized what we can do.
Mhm.
So I think, yeah, just understanding that it's going to be a team concept to be able to get to where we need to be. That's a big part of my
That's,
lessons learned.
can you all see this?
Mhm.
And it's true, if we were meant to be islands, that's where we'd be. We'd all be on our own separate island, didn't have to interaction with anybody, but we all need each other. And why go it alone? Because you can get there faster with others. And maybe one more person you want to share? Oh, Judy.
I came to realize more this year that my two kids are perfectly fine to make all of their decisions.
Mm.
They're all grown up and they are doing just fine. But I want to just give them a little motherly advice now and again, and oftentimes, I could maybe just not.
I'm still struggling with that too, Judy, if it makes sense.
And we love them like crazy. Yeah.
Right.
We do. But that's how they learn. That's how everybody learns. Right? That's how we learned to walk. They could guide us, but they didn't really, that's all they could do is guide us. And they tripped, they fell, but they got back up and they're running now.
Yeah.
And anybody else before we go on to the next slide?
I want to say, it's not that for me, it's not that it has it's something new. Speaking specifically on the second one, how are these lessons shaped your Ikigai journey? It's not that it's something new, but I've taken this opportunity to focus more on what I learned before, and it has strengthened, I would say, yes. It has strengthened my resolve to do something with myself and do something with what I have. Uh, I took the some of us here know Jay Lee. I took the 30-day challenge, Facebook Live challenge to write about my business, and in doing it, I also I also want to approach, I am also approaching it from the perspective of combining Ikigai and DISC, behavioral assessment together. And so that's what I'm saying. These lessons, it has strengthened my resolve, the purpose I am here for.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have gotten out of this. And looking forward to
Beautiful.
a prosperous 2025.
Okay, you can't see that. Now you can. All right, there we go. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. And Sim, oh, thank you, Andy. Great. Would you like to add anything, Sim? We can't
You're
hear
muted.
you.
Was that directed at me?
No, I asked Sim if she had anything to, people,
Oh, okay.
that we can't hear you, Sim.
Select the correct.
There we go.
You heard me?
Yep.
We're hearing you now.
Okay. I was able to reselect the correct audio because I switched to the headset. Let's see. What was the question? Oh, okay. There were some big challenges that I'm working on, especially paperwork, and luckily there's help. It really helped having Fran to talk with about it. So she helped me motivate me with my paperwork, and hopefully she's working on her website. So that's really helpful. My purpose has changed a little this year because I was planning to work on farming, about regenerative farming, but now I'm working on housing. Either way, it's helping us live together in harmony, helping us create a society that we help each other more.
That's beautiful. Let's see. Can you see this? There. I think you can see it. And the only one that didn't share was Dawood. Would you like to share, or you can just be on mute? It doesn't matter.
But I think what was really valuable for me this year was stepping into the fact that my purpose is to help people uncover and begin to live their own purpose. I do that a lot through business coaching and brand strategy. And I've done that as a parent. So it just showed up a lot this year, more than in the past. So that's kind of been the revelation I've had this year.
So your was purpose to help others find their purpose.
Yeah, it's something that's kind of, I would say it's etched into my soul.
Beautiful. And for those that don't know Dawood, would you like to share a little bit about yourself before we go on?
Let's see. So I'm in my mid-50s. I live in Boulder, Colorado, and I've been a business consultant and brand strategist for small businesses and solopreneurs for about 30 years.
Wow.
I've studied Sufism for the last roughly 30 years. And, I was one of those kids at, 15, 16 that was asking those questions, like, what's the meaning of life? Why am I here? And I've just spent all my adulthood searching for those answers. And how I met Lori, by the way, is on LinkedIn. A couple of months ago now, I joined one of her Ikigai classes and really found a lot of depth and value to it.
And Dawood is responsible for me starting on Ikigai for kids.
Yeah.
And you'll have to see the last week's the session we had last week, because I actually went to Seattle, and Anel put together a video about it.
Oh, cool.
And so yes, it was so cool. And that was one of Sarah's that was one of her purpose, was for kids. And the book that I've asked people to get, let's see if you can, it's called Let Us Get in Trouble. And so I hope that you will write a review, because there aren't too many. That's why one reason I did it. I said I was going to ask the people to get that book and write a review on it, because they need that. And the book is just beautiful, and it was designed, well, it was written by Linda Kuo, who was one of Sarah's students at Stanford. And then Mariano Rio is the graphic designer. But Sarah was an amazing person and used to tell me that, Lori, this was back in the 80s. She goes, and in the future, it doesn't matter where in the world you are, because you're going to have a laptop and you're going to be able to conduct your business from that laptop. And at that time in the 80s, I thought, what is she talking about? And she had so many ideas. And one of them was working with the fabric, or the fabric, what do you call it? It's not really textile. She took ribbon and she made it showed 100 different things that you could do with the ribbon fabric. And one of them was the N95 mask. And that's what she designed. And then in her 80s, she went to Stanford and started a school called Process of Change and Design in her 80s. So I think she was there about 10 years, and she came back to Seattle and lived her, in her 90s back here. But she's an amazing person, and you're going to love that. Here, the session we had with her.
Nice.
Yeah. So glad you're here. So Dawood is responsible for me looking into that. And it just brought back everything, when I invited Paula to come on one of our sessions, and it just kind of came all full circle. And she goes, that was what that book was meant for, 4 to 8 kids that are 4 to 8, but adults enjoy it. I enjoyed it. We used to teach it with our granddaughters when they were a little bit younger. And then I went to the Ikigai Summit and joined the Ikigai Society, and I'm going to be part of I'm joining the course to become an Ikigai coach. And I like the way that he said it, is Ikigai is not a final destination, it's a verb. It changes. And so that's what I love about it. And just felt more Japanese, shall we say, than some of the ways it was presented before. So I'm really excited about that. So that's going to be next year. I'm going to be learning more about that. So I'm glad this was a beta testing, because the next one is going to be different. We're going to go more into more of how they do it. So we can go to the next slide. And so happy and thankful that you are all here today. Okay.
Yeah, if I could just share real quick, Lori, sorry.
Yeah.
How we ended up here is I've got 4 kids. They're between 20, though I'm going to have, so my 20-year-old's going to be 21 next week. But between 20 and 15, I've got 4 kids. And I see in all of their friends, all of them, and all the other kids that I see walking around here in Boulder and in the towns nearby, but there's just, it's almost like an epidemic of the lack of purpose in their lives. And that's actually how we started this conversation was, certainly this affects adults greatly, but I think the thing missing from our children, going, young children all the way up to high school and college, is they're missing this piece of purpose in their lives. And, I'm looking for ways that I can help, and as is Lori. And so it's lovely to be connected that way.
It is. And, you really spurred me on, because I thought about it, but I hadn't really seriously thought about it. And so that's after that, I think it was late summer. I had Ikigai class, and we did this during this Ikigai master class. And when then the thing about Sarah came, and so it kind of came full circle. You'll love that. I think it's the last one. It just comes back, because everything she taught me is like, I didn't realize how much of an influence she had on my life until I started thinking, well, this was 40 years ago, right? In the 80s. But she did have a profound influence on my life, and I'm really grateful for her and what she did.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go back on mute now.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
If everybody would just like to share about their key learning from the class, one key thing. Would anybody like to share your thought, your breakthrough?
I'll jump in, just because I don't like awkward silences. So somebody else
Okay.
jump in. Okay. I I think about this often, right? Just the intersection of all of these things. I mean, and that your purpose is at the convergence of all of these things. So I mean, um, just the picture alone, and just kind of what that represents, and kind of the challenge that provides, if you choose to pick that up, is something that will stick with me for a very, very long time. Another thing that I have run into in the past, that I think this is just another kind of confirmation and just reiteration of the importance of that, is, so I mentioned convergence. I think another word that's really important in this is congruence. I can say that the times that I feel the most settled and directed as far as where I'm going in the future is when I feel like my life is in congruence, right? What I do with work, what I do with church, what I do with my kids, what I do with all this stuff, like my social media stuff, everything is in congruence with what is me and my core. That's when I'm happiest, and that's when I feel like I achieve that. So I would say all of this plus, that word of congruence is an important one for me.
Awesome. There we go. Would anyone else like to chime in? Thank you, Andy. That was beautiful. If not, we'll just keep going because there's a lot of time we're going to have time to share.
Lori?
Yes.
I was looking through my notes, and one thing that is sort of like something I'm going to put on my wall is, when your attention is clear, your answer will appear. And what you're thinking about comes about.
Yes.
Those are real catchy.
That was from Clemmer that I got that. When your intention is clear, the mechanisms or the answer will appear.
Yeah.
And he passed away too young. He's in his 60s. But
Who was that?
Brian Clemmer.
Oh.
And they're having they have seminars all over the states, and sometimes they go overseas, but they have different levels, and I have just one more level to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the second line that you said?
When your intent, me? Are you talking about me? I said, what I remember him saying is, when your intention is clear, the mechanism will appear. And that's Brian Clemmer.
Right. Judy, did you have another kind of catchy phrase?
I did, Andy. What you're thinking about comes about.
Yes, that's excellent. It really does. I really believe it.
Thank you.
So,
yeah, your thoughts are powerful. They're more powerful than people realize. Have you ever been around somebody that said, oh, they've got the flu and they're sick and this, I'll probably catch it? Well, they probably will. Or you could say, I'm strong. And you don't have to talk about all the negative that's going on. Just like with your kids. Oh, they did this, they did that, they did all these horrible things. You can say that, or you can say, my kids are getting better, they're learning, they're, setting goals, and just put the positive back in their lives. So this is just another goal setting for your 2025, reflecting on your Ikigai, because what this is doing is, by fulfilling your Ikigai, you're going to begin to have your legacy fulfilled. Because what do you want to be known for? Well, you go down this path and you go down that path, and your Ikigai will steer you towards the right path. And it can change, but you can hear in everybody some of their thoughts about Ikigai and the direction that they want to go. So we can have the next. Okay, for example, passion. I want to dedicate more time to activities that bring me joy, such as painting. That could be your passion. Your mission, I'm going to volunteer 5 hours each month to support environmental causes. Vocation, I will find a way to integrate my profession with my passion or travel by starting a travel blog. And profession is I plan to expand my skills by enrolling in a new course related to my field of work. So all of these will affect your life and what you do. And if you say, well, I want to become a better, say you're a sports person, I want to become a better golfer, and all you do is watch golfing, you go on YouTube to become a better golfer, or you also need to spend some time honing your skill. So it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to do it. I think we can go to the next slide. Okay, this is good. Icebreaker. So we're going to have a one-word reflection. So think of a word that best describes your experience in the Mastermind group this year. Take a few minutes to think about. So we'll take just a few minutes and think about the one word. You can have a couple words if you'd like, but think about what word best describes your experience. And if you like, you could put it in the chat. Oh, that's good, Andy. And someone else like to put in your word in the chat? Oh, that's good too, Judy. Clarity. Oh, I like that one too. Progress. So if you don't mind, I'd like you each to go around the thing and just say your one word, and that would be powerful. You want to start with you, Sim?
Progress.
Excellent. And Sandra?
Clarity.
Oh. And Judy?
Awareness.
And who else do we have? Oh, Jay, would you like to share yours?
Awareness.
Awareness, good. They're all good. My word is Kaizen, and that means constantly improving. Did you want to share, Dawood? Oh, you did. Difference. Okay, we can go on to the next slide. And so spend 10 minutes reflecting on your journey in 2024. What were your highs and lows? So write down 3 significant learnings from this year. So we'll come back in about 10 minutes as you reflect. We'll come back in just a few minutes as we're all wrapping up. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. And I'd just like to know if anyone like to share, just raise your hand or come on. You don't have to do all of them, but your learnings or what were your highs and lows? So,
One of my learnings was that I need to establish connections with the community of the recovery. Because when I have somebody that suddenly can't be in the house anymore, I need to find a place where she can go. So I need connections to help find that place, because when she needs to move out, she needs to move out. And I don't want to throw her to the street.
Okay. Connections are so important.
Sim, there's a really good book. I can't remember who wrote it, but I think it's just called Who. The idea is like it's about who you know and who you connect with, rather than what you do, when you do it, how you do it. I'll see if I can find it and I'll put it in the chat. But it was a really, really good book. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Huh.
You mean who, not how?
Is that maybe it is? Does that
I've
sound
heard
right?
of it, but I've heard of it, but Didn't
Okay.
seem to have an audiobook, or maybe I'm on hold for it. Reading an
I'll-
actual book is challenging.
Gotcha. I'll look it up, and I do audiobooks as well. So it was that. I'll find it for you.
That's one thing they emphasized in the Ikigai summit that I went to. It was just a 1 day thing in Seattle. And they asked around the people if you had a neighbor or somebody that you knew that you could go to for help. Many people did not. And that's a pet. It's really something that the society in the United States, that we are losing that connection. Like there's nobody that they can go to. There's no one that they meet with, like a group interest, and that's sadly lacking in this 2024, 2025. And so they are trying to do it. They're going to be working on Moai, something like MOAI. It's Japanese. It is about community, and communities are so, we aren't meant to be alone. We can do so much more together. Would anyone else like to share a high and low or your journey?
Lori?
Yes.
I had, for me, an extremely significant high, but it's a tiny little thing. But it mattered to me a lot. I've been following the appearance of this wounded deer in my yard for several years before the pandemic. It has something wrong with one of its legs, and it still keeps coming back to my yard. I can tell because it favors that leg, and I had not seen it for a long time, and I've been thinking about it and thinking about it. And I said, if I see that deer, it'll be a sign. I don't know of what, but it's just a sign. Yesterday, the deer came back.
Oh,
2 days ago, the deer came back, and it stayed in my yard for hours, eating all the dandelions and the grass and blackberry thistles or thorns and everything. And I just thought, for me personally, to refresh myself in nature, even looking out the window, that to me is critical. And I felt rewarded.
That's not such a little thing. It's a huge thing.
Yeah. I really feel like nature heals. And to look at this deer I just thought it was going to die. And it hasn't. And nature is healing it. So
And he or she remembered you.
well, I don't know, maybe the yard, but
The
my
yard.
personal scent, I wasn't outdoors. I would refresh its water occasionally during the summer. So, but I've been through its horns, and then no horns, and again horns, and no horns, and horns. And so I know it's just been alive forever. But, I felt so healed by that.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Anybody else like to share? Sandra?
I'll go. Yes,
Okay.
I'll go next.
Yeah.
I was 24, 23. I consider myself a lifelong learner, right? The end of 2023, I was in a program. Most of my working life, I've been in the nursing field. I started out not in nursing, right? Most of my life was in the nursing field. And I wanted to change from nursing. I got disillusioned with nursing and all of that. So at the end of 2023, I did a program, an office administration program, right? To sharpen my other skills. And then it would lead to a job placement also. So that's what I did. And one of my highs, it was February of this year, that I got a part-time job Um, and something that I like with children in an after school program. And yeah, it's not sick children I'm nursing. They're healthy school age children, okay? No, but healthy children. But yes, I know that I recognize that cut into some of my time, but it's a part-time job and it is something I want to do also in giving back. All right. And um I want to go on further to say another high of mine was I went I had a funeral. Yeah, we say a funeral is a high, but yeah, I had a funeral. My aunt's funeral was in September of this year. Okay, my aunt passed, but it was in Jamaica, the country where I was born. Okay, so after the funeral and all of that, we had time other than funeral arrangements and going through the process. But I was there also for my cousins, right? Because this aunt that had passed and my mother was like sisters. They were like, though they were sister-in-laws, they were like two sisters, right? So I was able to support my cousins and be there. And as I say, it was back in Jamaica. And yeah, that was one of my highs.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing. And we have anyone else? Jay, would you like to share? Or Dawood, would you like to share? Okay, we'll go on to the
Dara's
next.
trying to get off the mood.
Okay, sorry.
I'm good. I'm good at this time. Thanks.
Okay. And Jay, did you want to share or you want us to go on? Okay. Share the best, this is an icebreaker. Share the best piece of advice you've received for the upcoming year. What strategy has helped you in setting goals in the past? So if anyone would like to share about that, that would be fine. Otherwise, we're going to continue on.
I had a business coach a couple years ago, and we wrote a oh, it wasn't a mission statement. I can't remember what it was called, what we called it, kind of like a life. It wasn't even a life plan. Anyways, the idea was that you imagine yourself at the end of the year and you speak as to all of your goals being accomplished. You know, I'm so grateful and thankful that I da 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 da. I'm grateful that I was able to da 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 da. It's like all the things that you wanted to get done throughout the year. You speak that in kind of a mantra every day, and you just speak that over your life every day, every day, every day. And then you're kind of making those grooves in your mind that you're kind of constantly going towards that, even though you haven't reached that yet, but you're just washing your mind with that positivity in that direction. I thought that was very helpful.
That is. I like that. How about someone else?
I've had that also. It's you're looking back a year from now and you're saying, this was the best year of my life. This and this and this, all these things happened.
I like that too. That one's good. And anyone else? If not, we can go on for the drawing. We're going to have a drawing. Looks like you can go on. So hopefully you've gotten a lot of tools, or your next year is going to be a great year. So one person I met through Clemmer and Associate was Jim Stovall, and he's an author and speaker. But when he's in his 20s, actually when he's in college, he found out that he was going to lose his sight, and there was nothing they could do. So rather than, lick his wounds and just retreat back into, oblivion, or like a victim, which he is a victim, but he wrote over 40 books. And the way he did it was he listened to a book every day. Every day he listened to a book, and he calls that reading because that is his reading. He can't see. And he has award-winning films, and I wrote about that in my newsletter. What's called The Ultimate Gift. So that was really interesting. And when I heard him speak, he was funny at the beginning, and then it got very serious towards the end. And he talked about us, as people. What he has done is like nothing less than a miracle. He's a philanthropist. He's, just done so many things. It has a broadcasting station. I think it's for the disabled. Determination, and he writes in a weekly newsletter. You can look him up online. So if we can go to the next one. So your journey for 2025 starts now. Reflect, plan, and act. Your journey in 2025 begins with intention and purpose, and all the other words that we talked about. Congruency, commitment, fortitude, all of those. That's what it's going to take. It's not taking back and say, oh, well, I wish it happened. Well, that doesn't work. Just surround yourself with positive people and people that can help you on your journey. So we'll go to the next slide, please. And so we're going to have a drawing, and Annelle's going to do that, and your goal or your gift will be, I can send it to you in the mail because it's a coin, but I will send it to you, whoever wins it.
Cool.
So Annelle's going to put up the Wheel of Fortune. No, it's not. Every time when we have those breaks, I think of that. What's that? I think it is Wheel of Fortune. That music that goes da 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 da.
Oh, it's
Jeopardy.
Jeopardy. Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm not a television person, so here we go.
Cross fingers. Hey, good job, Judy.
Judy, yay! And this is what you're going to receive. Can you all see that?
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. Ooh. Oh. I'll
So we're
wear
gonna have
it.
to do this in person because I live the closest to Judy.
Well, I'll put it on a gold chain and wear it.
Yeah, you can. You can. So we have a winner. You know what? Can we take a picture of Judy with that? We have a winner. Sim, not Sim. I'm sorry. Annelle. Can we put that up? And can we feature Judy so I can get a picture of it?
Oh my goodness, I don't win things.
So now you do.
I do.
Congratulations.
Yes. Oh my word. Thank you very much. Thank you, Annelle.
Yeah.
Oh.
I used to say that I used to hardly win anything. And my mother won all the time. In fact, when she went someplace, they go, she can't enter because she always wins. And I said, about 15 years ago, I said, you know what? Somebody's going to win, and why not me? And so I started winning after that. I just kind of expect to win once in a while.
Yeah, like what we think. I should start doing that, Andy.
There you go. I like it. Yep.
So I
Oh,
wanted
man.
to know if Anel could do we could do a screenshot with everybody here. Is that the last slide, Anel? Or we'll do it afterwards? Oh, it is. Okay. So let's, you'd like to, is there any way we can make it like people are the same size? Can we take
It's gallery view.
gallery view? There we go. Now, this is, and, okay, verse filing. There. So that is it. Wow, we hit 5:02. This is really just on the bump thing. But what we could do is have another reunion, an Ikigai reunion, and see where you're at. I'm going to be going to like 2 weeks. I'll be in Japan. So I'm very excited about that. Yes. Talk about your goal. And one of my goals is to travel to Japan more. And since the pandemic is over, I've been going twice a year. And the first one, I think, was it 23, 22? Well, anyway, I went to Japan and Sim was one of my participants, and we had a really cozy small group. It was wonderful. There were 4 of us. And then last year we had 8 people. And so that was fun too. So this year I'm hoping for 10. And the hotel is, I mean, she sent it to me, and it took the longest time for Japan to come back and let us know what was going on. So I chose one that I liked, that I think was less expensive, and it's going to be a pool, sauna, exercise room, and huge. It's huge, but it's nice. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, thank you so much for this, Lori. I've really appreciated it. I'm gonna continue to work on this, and I want to. I think it was something that Judy had said something about kids. I've got an 18-year-old that doesn't know what he's doing in the future, so I'm going to try to incorporate some of this and try to encourage him to maybe go through the workbook and just have some conversations. It will continue to make an impact for many, many years. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Andy. And if you're open to it, I've just got StreamYard. And so I'm going to ask people if you would like to give just a short testimony of your experience and, why if what we'll do is set up a time. And if you would like to do it with Anel, I can't do anything without Anel. I mean, Anel helps me so much. She just takes care of that part of my brain that isn't as engaged, but I'm working on it. I'm doing I think it's called low laser therapy, and a series of 10 sessions, 2 per day, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it only takes 2 weeks to do it. And it's been amazing what's happened so far. Like my balance is off, and he has me walk, and then he has me do some memorizing and all kinds of things. And one time, I think it was last Monday. Yeah, last Monday, I told him how I was feeling. He goes, well, I think we would do something to calm the brain down a bit. And so that's what he did. It was wonderful. And he said, just think about gratitude, turn the lights off, put glasses on me. And he says, just think of happy thoughts, gratitude, what are you grateful for? And so I did, and it really, really helped because the brain was shaken up again, and when I was, June of this year. And then I was walking down this platform at a theater, and I literally fell flat on my face. So that was another time. Yeah. And there's a little bit of bruising right there, but I'm going to make it. I'm going to continue to Kaizen, continuously improve. So if anyone else would like to share some of your experience, if there's anything was especially helpful, maybe we'll send out a survey. What can we do better?
That's great. I love it. Thank
You
you
love
again,
it?
guys. I got to bug out.
Okay.
So have a great day, and
Alrighty.
we'll talk to you soon. Jay,
Okay.
I messaged you. I'll be reaching out. Okay.
Great.
All
Thank
right. See you
you.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
The accountability partner is really helpful. I'm going to meet her again in January.
Oh, good. Excellent. Yeah, you'll like Fran. And Anel did a great job of pairing people up.
Well, I'll talk with Ilana. I don't know why she wasn't here, but things happen, especially this time of year. So I'll get her on board as well.
Okay.
Bye-bye, everybody. Good meeting
Bye.
you.
Thank you.